You have selected Shuffle.
Welcome to the ShufflePod. I'm Woody.
Hey, I am George.
Hey, I'm DJ.
Well, anything good happened to you guys this week?
I just got some new tires from a used tire shop.
Okay.
How is that? So they're new to you. They are not.
Right. They're real cheap, so I just figured I need new tires soon, so I'm just going to get a couple new ones right now. And these motherfuckers... Okay, the last time I went there, I have these little valve stem covers that are like tire gauges. If they show green, then your air's good. If they're below, I think it's 36 pounds or 34 pounds, then they go red. So you know they're low. And I had 4 of them on there. And the last time I got a tire, they took one. And I figured it was just an accident, right? No big deal. I grabbed another set. Went in there today, got 2 new tires. And I decided while I'm in there, I better check. Because like last time they, So I come out and I look. And the driver's side tire doesn't have it. Has a regular black cap. And then I walked around to the other side. Same thing. I'm like,
They got
son
both
of a
of them.
bitch. Both of them. So there's like 4 guys sitting around. They're real trashy. This place is the worst. It's in the middle of the ghetto.
And you killed them because they're a lower class citizen?
Yes.
Okay, good boy.
So I ask him, I go, hey, can I get my valve covers back? And the one guy goes, yeah. And reaches into his hoodie and pulls them out of his fucking pocket and just puts them on.
Wow.
I was like, really? Like... You're not even being discreet about it. You didn't even walk over to the workbench and act like you left them over there.
Yeah,
They were
right.
literally in your pocket, asshole.
What a fucking tool.
They're only $7 a set for 4. I mean, like, he's stealing them. I mean, what's resale on a
Yeah, but that's
$7 new set?
That's like a quarter that was what you probably paid for used tires, so...
That's true.
Yeah, really. I mean, considering that let me get this straight. You replace instead of buying a set of tires, you just buy a tire when you need it?
Normally, I'd like to replace them all at once, but I needed 2 new fronts really bad.
Yeah, so do I.
And so
Where's
I just
this
went...
place at so I know I can go to them? Because I don't have those fancy valve caps. So
I'll explain where it is later. I don't want to give him a plug. I'll tell you after the show.
He sells them for $10 a set.
he puts them, he mixes, he sells them and they attach them to their meth pipe so that they know, so they don't get butter lips, so their lips don't get all buttered up.
It's not too bad, though. They're $25 a tire, and there's like 50% on there. It's the people who buy new tires all the time, turn them in, and they buy them, so
Yeah.
they're decent.
Well, that's still kind of a dick move, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, you wanted those back?
No,
they fucking came with the car, so.
What a dick move.
What a dick move.
What got me is just the gall. Like, he just didn't give a shit,
Yeah, they were in his pocket. They were in his hoodie pocket. The front, the big pouch pocket.
Yeah.
They were just in there. Like, he didn't set them on the bench and then just went to put them back on and just put on the regular ones. Okay, honest mistake. No, he stole them and just reached into his pocket and got them out. He knew where they were.
So it's just the little cap that goes on the stem.
Yep, it's got a little...
Did you ask him if you could have your 4th one that he stole 2 weeks ago?
This is like a year ago, but I should have brought it up. I should have went, yeah, last time you guys took the one when you gave me a new tire.
Wow.
What a bunch of dick bags, man.
Sons of bitches.
I fucking hate white people.
How do you know they were white people? I mean, they could have been...
He was.
They work in a
was.
tire shop. It's a used tire shop.
Yeah.
There were a couple white guys, couple black guys, and a woman. They were diversified, and they were all equally as scummy.
all equally as scummy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you boys noticed, but I got something on my face, and I'm wearing glasses.
Did I notice? I'm rock hard.
Here's the thing, because I point with them now, and I'm pointing into the video camera here for you guys. It's real authoritative. Now, I've got a real sexy pair that I wear at work all the time.
He's talking about glasses. Did you even say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I say glasses? Like, no. I'm like, I got something on my face, sexy. I bought these readers, right? Because evidently I can't see words, which is probably why I fuck my way through everything I try to read and spurned a conversation of, like maybe don't read so much, George. So I got these readers, and I can actually see now. So I think I'm going to read fluently, probably like a James Earl Jones voice or something now.
Oh, it's going to change your voice?
I think so.
When you're pointing with them, do you like ever like put the end of them like in your mouth, like the, you know how they?
I do.
Yes.
I'll do this.
Very classic.
I talk, and then when I get mad at work, I pull the thing out of my.
Go ahead, just pull it right out.
Almost said it. I pull the thing out of my mouth and I point with it. I spray. I just aim the skeet spray everywhere. All right. So, anyways, I got these glasses, and hopefully these are gonna read.
I'll tell you, the last time I had my eyes, got glasses and had an eye exam and that, the eye doctor was telling me, he's like, yeah, next time probably going to be bifocals. And I'm like, what? Bifocals? I'm like, I need bifocals? He's like, well, not yet.
You're like 68.
He's like, but you're getting to that age where, and I'm like, I'm only 42 years old. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jamie and I are both on vacation. I'm on vacation this week here. Which is, as we're recording the show, it's September 9th. I go back to work September 25th, boys.
oh my
Jesus.
God.
So my second week, my lovely wife and myself are off together, and we are going to do all kinds of crazy things like get our eyes checked, meet with the Honda people, because our lease is up. Just all kinds of great married people things that people like to do on vacations.
Yeah, right.
We're not going to go anywhere. We're just got a bunch of appointments, so we're going to do that. So maybe I'll have bifocals by the next time we record.
You can go down to
could.
Florida. I hear Disney World's pretty empty right now.
How's
Oh
your
my God.
brother, man?
Dude, he called me last night. Okay, for those that don't know, I don't know if I referenced it the last show. My brother, his wife, their children, and my
All the
wife's
in-laws.
side of the family are all down in
And
Disney. They go-
Family Friends got his family down there, too.
Yeah, I seen that, and I'm kind of offended that maybe none of us were asked.
No,
But
I wasn't.
That's a mini episode that we'll do when we get him on the air and have him awkwardly explain why none of us were invited
Right.
to Disney. But yeah, man, he did. He went down there, and word around the campfire is he was considering leaving Friday so that he could beat the hurricane. You know, he's a badass, so he stayed and looked the hurricane in the eye and was like, middle finger to the hurricane, stayed, and he's leaving today.
Well, let's explain. Today is the 9th.
Yes.
Hurricane Irma is set to hit Miami later tonight to early morning tomorrow.
Yes,
so
that's
he's
correct.
he's leaving before it actually hits. But
Yeah, which
man,
is
is he
great.
cutting it close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the baddest ass that I know now, because he looked death in the eye and was just like, I need to see Mickey Mouse one more day.
Right.
So
Literally in the
even
eye.
Mickey Mouse was like, hey, get the fuck out. You know, so
That was a really good Mickey Mouse.
That was
thanks, man. I rehearsed it before we got on the air.
Yeah, I've been looking into this this hurricane thing, and like, there's some crazy ideas on how to stop it, how to stop hurricanes in general. Have you guys looked
Like
into any
stop,
of that stuff?
like end hurricanes entirely,
not-
or
To-
destroy them once they started, or
Well,
divert them.
Okay, the what I was kind of looking at was it's the water temperature that's creating these hurricanes. As the warm water on the top, it like fuels these tropical storms and turns them into hurricanes. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
So like, there's lots of different crazy ideas. Like, I think I sent DJ a thing last night about some guy was talking about shooting at the hurricane. And then,
Yeah.
And then they
You
were
sent me that article. It was like a bunch of people are going to go out and shoot their guns at it.
Yeah, because that's
Not my president. Bang, 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 bang. You know, it's one of those things.
I think it's got about a 20% chance of working.
no 50-50. It's either going to work or
50-50.
it's not. So it's 50-50.
Exactly. Good call.
Fake
Woody.
news.
Fake news.
Turns out hurricanes are scared of guns. So what they did is they hired the Crips and the Bloods. They all went down to Cuba, and they're holding their pistols sideways and shooting at this hurricane.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
all right. So what is the theory behind that?
I honestly don't know. I didn't really read that much into
I read the article you
did
sent
you?
me,
Okay,
and
so
The
go
guy
ahead.
just wants to shoot at stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
The guy-
hopefully he'll hit a shark trapped in a hurricane.
right,
or
the
what?
guy was frustrated, and he put it on Facebook as just a way, not actually in the middle of the hurricane, but before it gets there, just shoot at it out into the ocean, as just a way to get your frustration out. And then like he invited people to it in a Facebook group, and it just kind of went
Because that
viral.
seems safe.
It just
That
went
seems
viral.
Completely safe. like 180 mile an hour winds, and you're just going to have a bunch of hilljacks just firing their guns randomly in the direction of the hurricane.
Right.
You're going to have people from their condos shooting across the beach. It's just going to be... Actually, it doesn't seem like a bad idea now. Get out the herd a little bit.
Here's the big problem. Once it makes land, then you're right there.
Which is fine, because then it theoretically takes out the other 5%.
Right.
And then basically it's natural selection at that point.
Right.
So that actually doesn't make the idea that I had sound completely stupid.
Okay.
Jello.
Jello.
Yeah.
Lots of Jello in the water?
Yes. With air bubbles, so the Jello thickens the water, okay? And it could solve hunger problems also. But you just basically fill it with Jello or gravy, something that would coagulate the water around the
You're talking about the ocean.
area of the storm.
Yes.
Turn the
He's
ocean
talking.
into Jello.
I feel like I'm watching that kid's show, Phineas and Ferb.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you think about it,
Maybe some salty
think
Jello.
about it. You know what? So maybe you go with gravy and mashed potatoes or something.
When you said thicken it in bubbles and stuff, Bill Nye has a theory on global warming for actually putting micro bubblers on every single ship. And I think we talked about it in one of our early shows. Mm-hmm. It creates just microscopic bubbles, which actually like reflect sunlight off the surface of the ocean and kind of start to cool it a little bit. But it has to be on such a big scale. But if you did that, you could knock the surface temperature of the ocean down a little bit. That could actually have an impact.
What?
The Jello? You're agreeing with my Jello?
Yes, with Jello.
Yeah. Not only have you just solved time travel, now you figured out how to get rid of hurricanes.
And world hunger. I mean, because you're telling me that like Jello, like people could just go out and carve a little block of Jello and bring it home to their family, and they could all eat Jello.
Where are you going, honey? Going out to harvest some Jello.
And then underneath the Jello would be all the fish, because you wouldn't kill the fish, and it's not toxic.
Oh, you're not going to put the fish in the Jello like the way you do fruit?
No, only Protestants would do that. Like waspy Protestants would be like my mom. My mom would be like, "Oh, the Jello's got oranges. I put a couple tangerine slices in there," and I just made her sound like she's talking like this, like, "Oh my God!" Like she's crossed between British and a Hasidic Jewish person.
Yeah,
where she's just
like your mom.
Yeah. And so my mom would probably put fruit in the Jello and stuff, which I would not eat then, because that's one food that I do not like at all. Mm-mm. Don't just leave Jello alone. When my dad actually told me a story about Jello, when he was a kid, my yaya would make Jello.
Your dad has a story about Jello? Your dad has a story about everything.
He does.
Well, and he told me, he said, "George, I was an adult, like married to your mother, before I realized there were other flavors of Jello other than lime green Jello." Evidently, my yaya would only make lime green Jello. And he was like, the first time my mom made whatever the hell it is, cherry Jello, I guess. He thought like she was like some kind of wizard.
Nice.
There's other types.
As it turns out, maybe I come by it naturally. Thanks, Dad. He can't read either, which is the thing.
There used to be cookbooks, like when Jello was really, really trying to get its name out there and sell its products and stuff. They used to sell these, or I'd probably give away these cookbooks, and there was like savory Jello recipes, like a real light gravy Jello. And
This is all really fascinating.
Yeah, never took off.
And actually,
Sorry.
Well, let's talk the merits of savory Jello. I mean, that just sounds sexy. Like I could just maybe put a little savory Jello in my belly button, and my wife could seductively suck it from a straw out of there. It would be like cheese flavored, like stank cheese flavored Jello.
Oh my God! It would be George flavored Jello.
George.
Oh my God!
Did you ever stick candy in there? Just get some George flavored candy and.
Hell yeah, chum children.
Yeah,
It'd be like, "Hey, here comes the candy man. Eat it out of my belly button." I'd have these children just gnaw candy out of my belly button. And go figure, now I'm in charge of registering sex offenders.
Right,
so, I
right.
mean, it is what I just came by it naturally.
That's why Halloween's George's favorite holiday. Just
Yeah,
sits
of
there,
course.
punches his stomach, and pops cases of candy, George flavored candy, out at the kids. What would that taste like? Would that be like what?
Musky.
It would.
Success.
I think beer and beef jerky. Like that's what George flavored candy would be to me. Like Genesee, it's got to be Genesee beer.
Yeah.
And like Jack Link's beef jerky, teriyaki,
and
sweat,
stomach acid.
Yeah,
yeah. It's let's be honest.
A little
it just
salty.
Tastes like salt and like olive oil because I eat a lot of olive oil now.
I'd eat me some George flavored candy.
And we'll do it today. We'll get together and we could do Jello shots off my body. As somebody's getting the prize at the bottom, if you know what I mean.
It's so
wink,
hot.
wink.
So, but back to hurricanes, guys. There's a company that they're just like a think tank. They come up with just ideas and stuff like that. What they came
the ShufflePod,
right, just like us.
Yeah.
But what they came up with was these giant tubes that go in the ocean. They're like 100 to 200 foot wide, circular tubes, and the wave action actually pumps. Really, yeah, it's a lot like a straw. But the wave action actually pumps the hot water down to the bottom. And then as it comes out the bottom, it cools down in the colder water from below.
So it's like a recirculating.
It's exactly what it is, yeah. But you'd need thousands of them over like an area that gets like in the Gulf that gets.
I can see that messing stuff up too, though. On one hand, it lowers the surface temperature, but it would also heat it up underneath, which in turn would eventually raise it back up, wouldn't it?
Well, as it goes through the colder levels, it cools that water down. Because they go down like 500 feet. And it's called a salter sink, is what it is. And they said...
it's called a silly straw.
Right. But they
all crazy, all designs. There's leopard, the shamrock kind.
You can hook them together, they loop.
They asked them, how much would it cost to, put thousands of these out into the Gulf and stuff? And they're like... a lot less than what the hurricane is going to do to Miami,
Oh yeah.
So they arbitrarily couldn't shout out a number.
Yeah, they said they can make these out of recycled tires
or like fancy valve stems. That's what that guy was.
Son
of
a bitch. For. It all comes back.
I don't know. That sounds actually like a better idea than my Jello. So I'll do that. I'll buy straws.
What about something like I got a couple things here. One. What if they would cut off huge icebergs and tow them there with tugboats and put a whole bunch of icebergs through the main path of the hurricanes? Because they all kind of come through that same area between Africa and on that upward swing up into Florida area and into the
Here's
Caribbean.
The problem they said with that was that it's going to take, for one, it's going to take a ton of fuel and a lot of ice.
Oh yeah.
And if you can figure these things are big, but they're not big compared to the relative size of the ocean, so
they're not going to do enough.
Well, no, not only that, but if you don't get it in the right spot and get the hell out of there, or if you put it in a spot and get the hell out of there, and that thing moves a little bit, a degree or two, it's not going to hit where you put all those icebergs at. True. And you've just wasted all of that money.
And not to mention, it gives all the climate change people, it would stop their arguments because then they'd be yelling at, we're killing the, glaciers by towing them to the tropics.
Actually, you would be melting them a lot faster. Yeah, you're right.
So that's a horrible idea.
How about
let's go with Jello?
The most obvious answer. And I say the most obvious just because it sounds cool. How about putting a 500 megaton nuke and just dropping it from over top the hurricane right into the eye and blast it? Wouldn't that disrupt the currents enough to just, the motion?
And put a ton of radioactive material into that atmosphere and
then
into
we
the
would
ocean. And
come on, man. How many?
It's not a bad idea if you want to have 3 armed kids.
No.
In the next 10 years.
No. How many nuclear tests?
7-eyed fish.
You can get online right now and go to YouTube. They tested nukes offshore in the Pacific all the time.
Right, and did you know that they can tell, say an animal dies and whatever, and they dig up the bones of the animal, they can tell if it was after the bombs were dropped, as far as how much...
because of the levels in its body?
Yeah, there's a certain point that we stopped all that.
Okay, but 1 or 2 Now, how many hurricanes are there a year? It's every 4 or 5 years there's a really bad one that would be worth it.
Right, but okay, think
You
about what
let
I
most
just
of
said.
them go, but when Irma comes, you nuke it.
But think about what I just said. Okay, so you got that they can date back all that stuff, and look at the rise in the amounts of cancer and stuff like that recently. So like so that's why they stopped like doing those nuclear testings and things like that, because like that's got to have something to do with why that generation is like dying off like flies.
No.
I believe it is. I absolutely believe it does.
We're living longer, man. We're living longer, and now we diagnose cancer. It wasn't until a generation ago
I
we ever
agree
diagnosed
that's part
cancer.
of it, but I don't.
How many people our grandparents' age died of cancer 20 years ago or so, and they just chalked it up to liver failure, but it was liver cancer or something like that. You know, I mean, they just didn't know what all the cancers were. They existed.
Yeah,
they found cancer
I'm
in
sure
like
that's
mummies.
part of it, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems like everybody I know is dying of cancer anymore. You know,
Well,
like,
we're living longer.
Yeah.
No,
What
these are
about,
people in their 60s and 70s. People normally live to 80s, 90s, and they have ever
What
since
if we
were
did
children.
a giant ice wall?
Like at the edge of the flat Earth.
That was, yes, if they could move the flat Earth ice wall in about 500-600 miles, or whatever their calculations are, we got to get a flat earther on,
Yeah.
and move it in so that that ice wall, basically, like, you can only go so far out into the ocean. You would still have your tropical waters and everything, but you could just do a giant ice wall. So the hurricane runs into the giant ice wall. It makes more ice.
George, this sounds really good, but who's going to pay for that wall?
Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, just have them pay. They're already paying for our wall.
Big news. Big news.
Yep.
That's real talk right there.
Hell yeah. It's going to be terrific.
Buckle up your bootstraps, Mexico. You're paying for our ice wall so that we don't get hurricanes.
Well, do you want to get into our regular topic and really talk about who's going to pay for the wall?
Right.
Sure.
All right.
You wily son of a bitch.
Look at this.
You jumped into
I'm
that
back.
because you could see me leaning into the microphone.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, we're going to do
So-
Moneyless Society today.
yeah. Let's talk about and when we were, pimping around a couple ideas, this one kind of stuck out a little bit. Basic premise for a moneyless society is no money, okay? You're supplying your own goods and services and stuff like that. So on the surface, it is a lot like Game of Thrones fans wishing dragons were real. It's a very cool topic, but do you guys actually think it'll work?
Yes, I've got one way that it will work, but before we get into that, there's really like two kind of ideas to a moneyless society. There's like the barter system where I have a sack of flour and you have a rifle and we swap. Okay?
That's a bad deal.
Okay.
The biggest problem with the barter system is what if I don't need anything right now, but you need something from me? I have to trust that I will get that back from you, and that's why we came up with money, because that's a way of you giving me something that I can trust in the government to back this money and
Right.
and use it later. Okay, so the barter system would only work in a really small society where you know everybody and you trust everybody. So
Yeah, so that's out.
so that's out. It's absolutely out. We're
Well,
way too big of a.
Here's the thing.
What's that?
You look at, before the advent of the coin was, as a means to measure a piece of worth, okay?
Right.
They operated basically on a barter society. In doing my research and stuff, I found that inherently people, there's a percentage of people that are just assholes, okay? Where nothing is going to be good enough. So those people are like, whether you look at it as way back before money was invented, or like a post-apocalyptic type, scenario where money is irrelevant, okay? You're always going to have, like in Road Warrior, who runs Bartertown, you're always going to have that guy that's basically hoarding whatever the greatest resource is,
Right.
and is exploiting it in people. I mean, there's so many examples of how it won't work just in everyday life, like if you're watching TV, The Walking Dead. it's a moneyless society now. But if you look at this, there's all these factions of different people that have banded together, and as a small conglomerate, that works, okay? But as a larger conglomerate, that doesn't work because you have outsiders that want things. And I think you're right, Woody. And I think basically, in a nutshell, you're describing that inherently people are greedy and want to survive for themselves.
It's not so much that they're greedy. It's and it's not so much that there's assholes. Okay, say your population is 100 people. Okay. And 5 of those people out of the 100 are really just assholes looking to fuck everybody else over and just get their way. But here's the problem: it might only be 5% of that group. But what do you think? Well, who do you trust? You're not going to trust that other 95%. You're only going to trust 20% of that people. So the other 80% you're going to be, is this person an asshole or not? I don't know. So I can't trust that I can. So owe you can't. Them something.
That's 80% of the community you can't trade with.
Right.
Well,
all right.
See, in the research, all of us hit on that Reddit article, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It points out it was actually really compelling, and I actually came into a Star Trek article.
Yes.
Did you hear this one, DJ?
No, I didn't, but I'm excited hard right now.
The premises of this is, and it goes into great detail. I actually have it, and if people that are listening to the podcast want, they can actually go ahead and check it out. The article is actually on Wired.com.
Hey, George, go ahead and put your glasses down.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. Yes, here we go. It's the economic lessons of Star Trek. Basically, if people want to research it, that I'm not actually going to read it, so I'm going to flip this up. The basic premise of it is this guy went online and was researching how the Star Trek Enterprise basically functioned, how their money society was, and there was none.
Right.
And like these colonies that they ran into, there was a specific colony that would charge money for a service and stuff, and that was like an anomaly. But the basic thing was, when you're on the ship and whatnot, there was no money exchange.
No, just do your job.
You did your job. You were able to eat, you slept, you had entertainment, and everything else. And if you were lucky, James T would throw you the wood.
Yeah.
If you were like a 3-boobed alien. And but basically, that fantasy world, of Star Trek.
What?
Was the perfect. It's though, whereas Star Wars actually ran on money. Okay. If you go through the whole premise of Star Wars, when they go to these towns and stuff, it's all money.
Oh, it's because they marketed that for buying Christmas presents and stuff, because it's a children's movie.
It is not a children's movie.
It's a children's movie.
We're gonna stop the podcast now if that's the direction we're gonna go, because I'm gonna say things that I immediately regret.
We have to do a Star Trek versus Star Wars at some point.
I think we do.
And we just buy our whole show, we're just going to buy the blow-up boxing gloves and go.
Well, basically, on that show, DJ would have to research the Star Trek, I'll research the Star Wars, and Woody's going to have to be the neutral party and pick a side. Is he going to go with his boy toy, or is he going to go with his heart that actually says Star Wars is better than Star Trek?
Woody's into both, though, so he would be fairly neutral.
But I love
if he's honest,
Star Wars.
If we're not just talking pillow talk, he's telling me flat out, look, Star Wars blows Star Trek.
I know when we do our role playing and I play Data and all that, but it's Star Wars. That's where my heart really lies.
Getting back to this moneyless society here, a lot of people have been comparing it to communism, where everything's on an equal plane and with goods and services and whatnot.
That's what communism is supposed to be.
Well, we have an in-studio expert here. Woody actually grew up in communist Russia.
I did not. I grew up in Brooklyn, Ohio.
That's not what I was told.
You did spend quite a bit of time working in a mattress factory in
mattress store,
Russia.
Not in Russia.
Yeah,
no.
In Russia,
selling good mattresses. Yeah,
no.
Is that and you studying Aikido? So I mean it. That's kind of what I heard, unless that's a complete lie, Woody.
Complete lie, yeah. I don't know where you heard that from.
So on paper, it works. On paper,
Yes,
it works.
it does. It does. And the thing is, but here's where it falls short, okay? In looking at the things that I was looking at, okay? You have your tradesmen, okay, that build the goods and services or have a skilled trade. They all make a certain wage, okay? But then where it kind of, then you have teachers and people that pass knowledge. They make a certain wage, which is equal to the tradesman, okay? Where it starts falling apart is when people are in more of like science research-based areas, like doctors and stuff like that, and they're making the same wage as tradesmen in every, every other commoner, okay? That's where it starts falling apart, because how can you actually say, okay, if you're going in the moneyless society, if I'm a mason, and I'm a brick builder and I build these giant beautiful structures for a living, okay? Or just I build basic homes, as a carpenter and whatnot. How am I, in the eyes of everybody else, on the absolute equal plane of the greatest surgeon in the world? Right. That's where it falls apart. And I'm not minimizing, because we're working class people too, okay? I get it, and everybody is equal, okay? On a personal level, and just as human beings, but not on an economic structure. That's why certain people make more money than other people. Go ahead, DJ.
I look at it as breaking down on the other end of the spectrum, because on the high end of the spectrum for doctors, even teachers, people are passionate about those jobs.
Exactly.
So
yes.
They're sought after. Even if it doesn't pay the highest, it's still, you're helping out people. People get fulfillment. Who's going to clean the toilets? That, to me, is where it breaks down.
Well, and that's where it breaks. And you're right. Okay, so on each end of the spectrum is where it breaks down. Not so much your middle, okay? And I think, I guess maybe, I don't know, Woody, I'm going to throw it to you here real quick, because
I have the answer.
I think I do too.
Basically, like, would you be closer to your middle class becomes the most powerful class because it holds everything together, or...
There would be no middle class, upper class, lower class. Okay.
Correct.
So that's a solution to it is robots.
That was one of my points. I have AI as a list.
Yeah,
okay?
when they're able to do the jobs that nobody wants to do, I'm saying wants to do, like you don't really want to go and get in the truck and drive. I might like being a truck driver, but I like it better than cleaning toilets. So when you get rid of all of those jobs that people just don't want to do, and then everybody can work to their passions, either being a scientist inventing something, or being an artist, or being
So it would cause a enlightened society, is what you're saying.
Right, absolutely. So
actually, that's I never thought of that part of it.
Let's take robots out. We're not quite that far in the future yet.
No, you're right.
They're going to eventually be
there. That's the only way I believe that we're ever going to get to a moneyless society.
Well, for truck driving and stuff, I think you're right. But as far as like cleaning the toilets, couldn't everybody just keep their own area clean?
Yes.
If you're working at a hospital, you do clean the toilets there on your off time.
Or you can just have a self-cleaning
Everybody
toilet.
does. Huh?
Or you can just have a self-cleaning toilet.
Well, I don't know, because I've seen those and they don't clean gummy poop. Like if you look like a Jackson Pollock painting after you get off that bowl, it's not cleaning that.
We're talking years in the future where, you're going to have micro cleaners in there that just go in
micro cleaners. Ooh, this
scrub
sounds
it all
technical.
out and
it basically is describing yogurt.
But I mean, honestly, it's like that's the only way I see us making it to a.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right.
I mean, he's like, get the cultures, the Activia. So yeah, it's.
Did you hear about?
If everybody just eat the goddamn yogurt, you're not going to have intestinal problems because of the probiotics. I get it. The yogurt manufacturers should be the highest paid. That we just solved it.
Boom.
Okay, here's where the big problem I have with like say we do have robots doing all of the labor stuff that nobody wants to do. Okay, then what are people going to strive for? They're going to strive for power over other people.
Naturally, we will. You're right.
Yes.
So the only way to kind of get rid of that is to live in a society where everybody has an equal say. So instead of having like a representative democracy like we have now, where we elect somebody to make decisions for us,
Not my president.
Correct.
we would all be voting on every issue. So
His middle
you'd
name
have
is
a lot,
Hussein.
You'd have a lot of extra time because you're not doing all this extra stuff, all this extra labor. So you'd have time to look at every issue and make decisions on it.
But let me ask you this.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, okay? When you're on vacation, this is just a small example, okay? Because it's relevant because I'm on vacation right now. I have
Look how he just rubs that in.
revolves around George. That's why people in Australia
I'm the center
are
of
upside
the
down.
universe. I am the center of the universe, and
Since
what
he's
I
on
say
vacation,
goes.
everybody's on vacation.
Well, that's true. No, well, in my mind, nobody's working. I ain't working. You ain't working. Because I'm not there unless I'm sitting in that truck with you, which I've never been invited to go right around.
Yes, you have.
Like, DJ, no, I haven't, you dirty bastard. We'll talk about that later.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'd say yes, he has.
Yeah, I have been. He invited me on a, but we wanted to go to Mexico. And I was like, no.
Maybe this week.
No, they're building a wall. Anyways, here's the thing. When you have idle time on your hands, okay? And you're in this society of enlightenment and stuff, I know me, if I have nothing but time, I'm always like, you know what? I can get down in the studio and record later. I'm going to watch this program.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I've binged watched 18 hours of Law and Order, okay?
And you never made it to the
nothing.
studio.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'll go tomorrow. It's no problem. And then I'm so tired from doing what I did yesterday where I don't do it. I think because I think people's self-worth is driven by doing something. And that's why people work. And that's why we have a money society to go, I want to do this, this, and this because, okay, in our situation being Americans, okay, the common goal is, not the common goal, the idea and the premise behind it is you want to be a millionaire, go out, grasp it, work for it, you can become a millionaire, okay? I think people become, when they have, like, if I know that I don't have to get up and go to work every day, I don't go to bed early, I may drink that night, that kind of stuff, and I just become more lazy.
Okay, can I respond to this? I absolutely understand.
That's
what
why
you're
I'm
saying.
talking.
Okay, so this is because you work hard 95% of the year, okay? So when you do get these days...
Well, that's a little high.
Okay, so, yeah, granted, he does have, 10 weeks of vacation.
I wish they didn't give you your valve caps back, you ass.
But, okay, you work hard for, we'll say 95% of your year, okay? So when you do have those days, you're gonna...
It's about 98.
I'm talking 60. Go ahead, Woody.
You're gonna blow off some steam by drinking some beers and staying up late and stuff like that. But if that was your day, every day, all you had to do was whatever you decided to do that day.
You'd get sick of that.
Yeah, you'd get sick of it real fast, and you'd be like, I want to do something today. Okay, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna see what laws are coming up and that I have a say on, and I'm gonna make a vote
I would never
on.
do that. Because at no time in my free time am I like, I'm going to watch the news.
Because
all free time. All your time is free time.
If all of your time was free, you wouldn't need to rest so hard because you're not trying to catch up for all the rest of the shit you've been doing.
But in theory, if you had a moneyless society, DJ, let me ask you this directly.
Okay.
Do you even have laws that are coming on the books? Because your medical care is provided for, your everything else, you do your job, you get your medical, you get your food, everybody's on an equal plane.
Excellent point.
There is no laws.
There's laws. There's laws, but what he's saying is most of the laws drafted by Congress now involve foreign trade. They involve
you're right.
health care.
Money.
But
everything's financial.
They also involve new technologies, like where are we going to spend our... Well, I guess there'd be no money, so it wouldn't matter.
There'd be no money.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, where are we going to spend our resources then?
Yeah.
But that becomes... But in my eyes, that becomes irrelevant. Because if you need a structure built, you get your your people that build the structure, and they just build it, no questions asked. Hey, no problem.
No, we have limited resources on this planet. People would have to. You'd have to apply to get the building built, okay, and then people would have to decide if that was a worthwhile cause to put in that space.
Of course,
okay,
that
so
would be
basically
critical.
laws then become, hey, we got to vote on if we want to build a new city hall, or do you guys like the city hall?
Not only that, but it would be like, okay, we have a vote on if we want stem cell research to go ahead. Because it's a moral issue as opposed to a monetary issue.
Okay. So then laws would be more morally driven.
Right. It would be, what's best for the society as opposed to where are we going to spend our money?
That's a freaking great point. Okay,
the needs of the many.
You would have. How would then do you separate in a moneyless society if they vote? Say, let's stick with stem cell research. Okay. Could you almost though make the argument that say stem cell research as a whole gets voted down? Okay.
Right.
But say you have a new disease. Okay. You're the lucky recipient. They're going to name it Woody's disease.
Okay.
Wouldn't they just automatically start the research because it would, as a whole, be for the betterment of your society to eliminate Woody's disease?
They might.
What is Woody's disease?
It just makes you look more. It makes you more intelligent and more attractive.
He's too sexy. He's too sexy.
It's not like they would vote on every. Are we going to cure this disease or not? Like, the whole reason why stem cells is a moral issue is because they think that they're taking the spinal cord fluids from babies, and abortions and things like that. That's what makes that a moral issue. It's not like if I got some crazy disease, they would go, well, do we think Woody's good enough to work on a cure for? No, they're going to work on a cure. But if they come into, like, something where it's like, okay, they have to kill the last tiger in the world to cure me because they need its spinal fluid, they're going to go, okay, we need to vote on that.
Okay. A lot of the quote-unquote morality issues, a lot of that stems from religion. And I think in a moneyless society, and in an enlightened moneyless society, a lot of the crazy ends of the religious end are gone.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And then all of a sudden, your religion becomes more of a, like, inner,
for the good
inner
of man.
peace,
Yeah, absolutely.
Self-fulfillment.
What it becomes is like the curiosity of what happens after you pass away. It's
right.
To a lot of people that's really where religion really started. They were afraid of dying.
That's wonderful.
But yeah, it would get rid of these mega churches that are honestly just there to make money.
So do you think with a moneyless society then, like our tech... Okay, I'm going to... If I'm wording this wrong, jump in, okay? Because I had an idea here. Do you think during a moneyless society, our technology would progress?
Oh, yeah.
But our...
Yes.
But our morals and stuff would regress to more of a primal...
No, other way around. It'd be more enlightened.
Both go... Yeah, we would become a lot more enlightened. It would people would be a lot more worried about other people's social statuses, not status, but like their situations because
their situations.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, and technology would explode because that's a lot of people's passion.
And how many people how many kids in Africa don't get educated as of right now? We could be losing 50 Einsteins.
Right.
That could have breakthroughs, and they don't even get an education, so they never even get a chance to think.
That's
really.
what drives me insane about our whole culture. And that, like, for 2,000 years, we've been taking women, half of our population, and telling them they're not smart enough to work on these
just
problems.
Recently you can have actual women scientists. Right. Recently.
How far along would we be? Much farther along would we be if we had the other half of the population working on the same problems? We would double where we are. You know what I mean?
This is another Neil deGrasse Tyson thing that Woody just stole.
It's not. Absolutely not.
I swear it is.
Thieving bastard.
It really is.
That a moneyless society wouldn't work because you would steal everybody's ideas.
He would.
I did not.
Woody deGrasse Tyson.
I swear. I was going to say where I got it from. I'm pretty sure.
Woody Nye, the science deGrasse
It was
Tyson
Neil
guy.
when we both used to listen to Star Talk a lot.
Well, it made a lot of sense to me.
I truly he's right,
it's
and so are you.
I'm not just saying that, like, that's a great idea, and I just had a great idea. I believe that's true.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Obviously, you would have to have a government, okay?
No.
Yes.
To oversee everything.
You do. Starfleet Academy.
Okay.
You have to.
You do.
But the thing is that takes the power, that takes the corruptness out of, because what is the one thing that corrupts people in power? It's this. It's the money. It's not
just the money. It's the being able to tell other people what to do.
Mm-hmm. That's why Woody gets off on this so much.
Oh yeah,
on the show.
Yeah. We're definitely not a moneyless society on the ShufflePod.
Hence, he told me why I can't read, and I felt so sick that I had to go buy freaking glasses, just so that in his eyes he knows I'm trying to make a difference. For Christ's sake, because I love this podcast, and probably
there's no lenses in those glasses.
Thing.
He's just pretending, just for my.
I think he's not even wearing glasses to try to read better. I think he's wearing glasses to try to look like Woody.
It could be, yeah. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe I got Woody disease. I want to be more handsome.
And,
you do look a little more handsome now.
Your IQ's going to go up a couple points too.
More athletic. I want to be able to throw a football.
Well, that you're going to lose.
Pristine spiral.
That you're going to lose the ability to do. There are some sacrifices to this Woody's disease.
You said you learned though, right?
Yeah. I actually got my hands on a regular football and had no problem throwing a spiral.
Okay.
Let's talk about why we think it would not work.
The whole reason why I think it wouldn't work is because the people that are making the decisions that would make it work are the ones with all the money and the power now. So why would they...
All right, so you're taking the reality of it where it couldn't kick into gear to begin with.
Right.
But let's say it did. Why wouldn't it work?
All right, I've got an idea on that. And this just goes back to something that I said earlier. Because, call it instinct or call it what you will, okay? People are always looking at, they can always do something better, or how can I make a quick buck, or stuff like that, okay? And if you take the how can I make a quick buck out of it, it's, well, how can I get one more loaf of bread? Or, and it starts like that. And then it starts barreling over like, well, why can't I hold on to another 5 gallons of gasoline? And it's
right.
Ways of, you can almost look at it as when immigrants come to America, like back in the day, okay? When our parents' came to America, okay?
Get ready to edit this out, DJ. Just in case.
Well, when our parents' came to America, they were assumed that they were not educated and stuff like this, so they learned trades and whatnot, and they wanted to always better themselves. You basically, like, each one of us raises our child hoping that they have a better life than we do. Right. Okay?
Yeah.
When you take that out, when you take that part of just human drive out of it.
Like if you didn't have a wife and kids?
Actually, yeah, okay.
I had to squeeze that in somewhere.
That's actually... But if you take that out of it, at what point you just become stagnant and you just... I know it's a beautiful thing to go, well, your enlightenment is going to be, you can enrich that. But what if you're not an enlightening person? You're just a person that just likes to watch football.
No, I think everybody wants to be enlightened if given the opportunity. I really, really believe that.
Yeah.
And you think that everything's driven on a socioeconomic class. That's why, like, in rundown parts of even America, you have gangs and everything else. Like, crime is exploding.
I think, like, go ahead.
You think if you took out the cash part of it, everybody would just be happy?
No, not if you just pulled it out. The reason we just want to sit around and watch football is because that's the way society has taught us to do. I mean, like, you're so used to living the way you live and striving for money and wanting your relaxation and relating relaxation to sitting there watching football. That would kind of go away. A lot of the entertainment stuff would be gone.
See, I beg to differ, because if you're nurturing people's enrichment, you're going to have more entertainment. Now, I am going to be pissed off, though, if that entertainment is strictly plays and stuff like that, because I don't like that shit. What I like to do is
I think it would be.
watch sports.
But George,
I think there would be less sports.
I can prove to you that you're wrong with just what you do. You think you say that like when you have a day off, you're just I'm lazy. I just want to lay around and watch TV. But look at the things that you do on your off time. You're constantly playing guitar, so you're constantly trying to get better at something, and make something.
Sure.
You do this podcast. So this is producing something and putting it out to the world. This is all on your free time. If you were really that lazy that you didn't want to do anything, you would not be doing this now. You would have never.
You actually do more than most people.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff.
I mean, I think everybody has. I mean, there might be a couple people out there that just want to sit there and watch TV all day. Okay, but that's not even close to a percentage of the population of people.
I think the reason I think there would be a big decline in sports is, yes, okay, playing the games are fun.
Yes.
I admit that, and they are. But the reason kids get to that next level is because they want the money and fame, and that wouldn't be there.
Not everybody, though.
A lot of them, though. A lot of them. I think the
True,
talent
because
level would
it's
go
a
way down.
out. Because it's a way out and a way to provide for their families. I get
Right, which that
but
wouldn't
then you
make a
have
difference in a moneyless society. They would already be there. They wouldn't need a way out.
No, you might be right. I think maybe then without money, because I mean, look at the multi-billion-dollar industry just in college football. I guess you're right. You're
Michigan
kind of right.
started 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, it would just be more of a. They're losing already, probably. It would just be more of a. Hey, we're going to go out and play football.
Right.
Instead of sitting watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
These big events. My God, you guys are right. So I don't want this at all.
He's basing
Because
it on
I
his
wanna
fantasy
look
football
forward.
team.
Yeah, I want to play fantasy football, and I want to play fantasy baseball. No, I know we got to wrap it up. So in
Why
closing,
do you want to play fantasy football? Like, what about fantasy football is like your goal? It's to
It's
win.
not winning money. It's
to win.
It's to win.
It's not winning
to
money,
win
though.
No. It might
But
not be
I want to
money,
beat everybody.
But yeah, it's to win. It's to be the best. To show everybody how much you know about football. It's kind of to show
Yeah.
off. And
You're right.
We wouldn't have that. All those drives like that would be.
No, you're right. And I think it would be sad to kind of take away like gambling and stuff. I mean, there's downfalls to it, and I think that's why it's never going to even be attempted, okay, until like something catastrophic happens and just knocks out the infrastructure and everything else.
Did you just say there's some downfalls to gambling? Like it's mostly positive, but there's some negatives.
There is. I mean, you watch my brother when he plays cards. He turns into like a monster, okay? Oh, and
Yeah.
by the way, he got on the plane. He just sent me a text. They're on the plane. They're
Good.
safely heading back.
Yeah,
So that's
until
good.
he sent that text, and now that they lost communication and crashed into the freaking ocean.
You're probably right.
Jim!
Stay off the phone, you stupid bastard. He fell right into the eye of the storm. And my brother actually wrangled a tiger shark and is riding it with his family on his back to the thing, and they're going to write songs about him. Oh, Jim Chris, filled with iron and piss. He does what he does because nobody else will. It's basically that. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show on Moneyless Society. I want to hear everybody's like input on this because I think this could be like a pretty... Man, maybe we revisit this with if there's some audience interaction and stuff.
This can get fun. This can get really, really fun because we got some of our Facebook friends that are pretty darn conservative. This is going to be interesting.
Yes,
I hope
that is good.
we hear it all.
Right.
Yeah, show me your birth certificate.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, Woody, tell them how they can get a hold of us, man.
You can visit our webpage, theshufflepod.com. From there, you can link to our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr accounts. You can also email us. Give us your opinion on what our show is today about, moneyless societies and what you think of them. So, or you can support the show at patreon.com.
Because we still are a money society.
Yes.
And this shit ain't free for Christ's sake anymore, guys.
So,
Free ride's over.
for as little as a quarter an episode.
A quarter a show. That's a hell of a deal.
It is. It is.
You can't even buy a soda for a quarter.
No.
And I'm going to punch myself in the face for saying soda.
Yeah. So, all right, guys.
Dude, it was fun. It was fun. All right, guys, until next time.
All right, see ya.
See ya.